Right, episode 5. Welcome to Coachcast. Sponsor out the way first. Pro Athlete. Make sure you're following them on Instagram and using it. It is the best hub for TripAdvisor style for coaching in this industry. So go on there, give it a follow, give it a like, sign up, and get your profile on there. So, welcome, episode 5. Like I said in the intro for this is the most special guest I'll ever have. It's my dad on the podcast.
Whippy!
Yeah, Paul Chapman, 65 years of age. No, he doesn't look it. But we've got loads of questions coming from Instagram. The reason why I wanted to get my dad on is, so every time I've ever posted anything about my dad on Instagram, everyone always responds to it. Everyone always has a laugh. Dad's a bit of like, my best mate. He does everything. He helps me out with business stuff, and people find him funny, apparently. Names all the countries in the world at Christmas, stuff like that, if anyone knows what that means.
I'll talk now.
You'll know. Yeah, you can talk, yeah.
And there's 197 if you want to check and try and do them all.
Yeah, countries in the world, 197.
You get 15 minutes to do them.
Yeah, you don't need to shout at the mic.
Okay,
that's fine.
right.
Yeah, just you can talk normal.
Okay.
So we're going to start like interview style, because I can always remember growing up that you always said you want to do something yourself, you want to work for yourself, you don't want to work for someone. You always said you should do it online, so you don't have to pay overheads and stuff like that. So when you grew up, what was your first job that you did? I think you worked for people at the start, though, didn't you? Well, you worked for your dad, didn't you?
I worked for my dad.
Okay.
Yep.
And
we were born and raised off the Washwood Heath Road in Birmingham, so about 2 miles from here. Then we moved out to Castle Bromwich, and then eventually moved to Aldridge when I was 7. And my father set up a very small business, and I used to go and help him out on a Saturday morning. And just like Christian, I was bloody useless at school. Right. And
fuck off.
That's no exaggeration. They always said that if I was as good at sport as I was in the classroom, I'd be a good pupil.
Yeah, because you used to play Villa Youth football, didn't you?
I played Villa Boys and Villa Youth, and I played golf for Staffordshire from the age of 14 onwards.
Yeah.
So I went to work for my father when I was 17. But living and working with somebody in your own family, not good.
Yeah, and you didn't really get on with your dad, did you?
No, I got on really well with my mum, but not with my dad. So I left working.
What was the business doing?
It was
gold bricking or something.
No, gold foil printing.
Right.
On leather and plastic, and it gave my father a pretty good living. But yet again, I'm going to use this phrase so many times. Christian is a chip off the old block.
Yeah.
Right? We are absolutely identical. When I was earning 30,000 a year, I wanted 40. When I was earning 40, I wanted 50. When I was earning 50, I wanted 60. And Christian is no different. And fair play to him, he's been very successful. A lot more than me, I hasten to add. So I was going out with Christian's mother, Sarah, who I've been married to for 40 years. How on earth she'd put up with me, I'll never know. And I went to a recruitment company, and I said, I want to get into sales. And they said, well, have you got any experience? No. Well, you're going to have to start at the bottom. So I got a job selling photocopiers for a company called Mercy & Copiers in Kings Heath. And Carl Braithwaite, who owned it, who is no longer with us, unfortunately, he was absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
He was great. And the two bosses, Mike Snelson and David Plim, actually, it's a miracle I can remember the names because this is a long time ago. They were also brilliant, and boy, did we have a laugh.
Yeah.
I mean...
when I sold cars, the only thing that kept me there was because it was just fucking hilarious every day.
Yeah.
But I bet back there was no regulations or you
could
just make shit up.
Camaraderie. I mean, we only used to work 4.5 days because Friday lunchtime, it was a huge piss up, right? From about 2 o'clock through. I mean, we just left the cars in the car park. And funnily enough, we used to go very close to where Christian lives now, to the Jam House, although it wasn't called that then. It was called something else, but it was open. And we all used to end up in there Friday night. And Sarah, my wife, Chris's mum, she would come into town to join us, and as all the other wives would. And boy, what a Friday afternoon and Friday night we used to have. And it was brilliant. The camaraderie
Yeah.
from the people that I met. And we won some great trips. We won a trip on the Orient Express. We won a trip to Copenhagen. We won a trip to Jersey. And it was absolutely fantastic. So really, that was my first.
Was your dad like a salesman?
No.
So it's just random.
Just random, yeah.
Yeah.
It was just something that I wanted to do.
Yeah. So did you do quite a few sales jobs after that?
Yeah, well, I mean, literally, I went into this job and they gave you your keys, and I had a Toyota Corolla.
Nice.
Right. Now, bearing in mind, I'd given up a Ford Capri.
Oh, shit, yeah.
Right.
So also, because on the next podcast, I talk a lot about cars on the one I just did.
Yeah.
You were really into cars.
Yeah. So
a Ford XR2.
Yeah, I had an XR2. And the latest technology was when you put the water squirters on the windscreen, it did the headlights.
Yeah.
And we used to go down to Flint's in Mere Green on a Friday and Saturday night, and there were loads of bloody posers outside. And we used to put the squirters on, and everybody used to get soaked outside. And they'd chase you up the road up towards Belwell Lane, traffic lights.
Yeah, so you had that. Full
So
Capri.
that lasted about 3 or 4 years, and then I was promised a promotion, which didn't come. So I went to the head office, which was on Suffolk Street, Queensway, in the centre of Birmingham, and I got a sales manager's job.
Yeah, selling what?
Still selling photocopiers. And the company car then was a Ford Sierra 2-litre IS.
Nice.
White,
Nice.
which was the dog's bollocks. I mean, this was real good car.
Yeah.
And I can remember in my first year there, I was 25. So that was 1981, 1982.
Yeah.
I earned £40,000 in a year.
Which back then, that's a lot of fucking money.
Which now, that's got to be 100 grand a year.
Yeah.
I mean, we had money coming out of our bloody ear holes.
Yeah.
Sarah wasn't working, so she was, as the children were born, she looked after the kids at home. But I couldn't get the sales director's job.
Which you wanted.
Yeah, because
so again, this is like me, isn't it?
Yeah. So
when I can't get something, I'll go somewhere else and get it.
Yeah.
So
we set a business up on our own.
So when was Waterstones?
Oh God, no, Chris, we haven't got halfway yet.
Oh, okay, sorry.
I mean, this is going to go on for the next 3 hours.
Let's hurry this one up a bit. So yeah, sales role did that.
Yep.
When did you get a sales director's role somewhere?
No, Simon Carter and Dave Crawley set up our own business, Connect Business Systems in Heath Hayes.
Right, selling.
In Cannock. Well, we got a franchise for Toshiba.
So you're doing fax machines. Was this the fax machine one?
Photocopiers and fax machines.
When the first fax machines were out?
So we set up a business. I'd got a mortgage.
How much did it cost to set up the business?
About £5,000 each.
Right, okay. So this was your first business?
Yeah.
Class. I didn't know.
I was 26.
Right.
And I got a mortgage. I'd got commitments. We had no revenue, no customers, therefore no profit. Absolutely fuck all.
Yeah.
And we had to go out and knock on doors and ring people who we knew and say, come on, do us a favour.
Yeah.
We've just set up. Do you need anything? Yeah. Anything. And some of them were fantastic.
Yeah.
We set up and I sold out of it 5 years later and made quite a bit of money.
Sweet.
And left the other two to it.
Yeah. So that was the first business.
Yeah. Do you want to know about the first fax machine we sold?
No, I've heard that story.
No, go on.
All right, okay.
It's funny.
But come on, you go on. So do the short version.
Okay. We were doing a blitz in Birmingham city centre, and we knocked on Evershed's solicitors, and we just had a fax machine delivered from Japan, right?
And it was like the first
And
ones.
it took 5 people to carry it, right? So in those days, it was all telex machines, and a company would have a typing pool of all the stuff they were sending out.
Yeah.
So this guy came down to see us, and he said, "Yes, make it quick." And we said, "We've just launched a range of facsimile machines." He said, "What do they do?" And we said, "They transmit messages via the telephone lines." Well, bring one down. Let's have a look at it. So we went down, hooked one up, and it was £6,000 for a facsimile machine. When they finished, they were about 250 quid.
Yeah.
And he bought one, and we hooked it up. And, I mean, my sales guy was spending his commission already, sort of thing. And he rang us, and he said, "This machine's not working." And we said, we tried everything, and we said, "Well, where are you sending it to?" He says, "We're sending it down to our London office." And we said, "Well, what machine have they got?" And he says, "Well, they haven't got a machine." And I said, "Well, there's got to be a machine for you to send it to." And he says, "Well, you better get your ass down to London and deliver one tomorrow morning." So in the space of half an hour, we'd sold 2 machines for 12,000 quid.
Yeah.
And the sales guy had earned about £2,000 commission. And I'd earned more than that off him.
Yeah.
So it was real good fun.
And it used to be black and white at the start, didn't it? And then it did colours.
Oh, yeah,
And they were asking if it could do brown, and you were just, again, this is exactly like me. Say yes and worry about it. Like, yeah, it will do brown. And you used to mix the colour bags to try and make brown.
But he used to ring up every time and said, "This is not the same brown as last time." I said, "Yeah, but the red and the green that make brown, or whatever it is, I don't know." So we used to get the technical guy mixing all this bloody toner in a big bag to make brown.
And then you got into glass. Was it after glass? After that. So what was that? How did that come about?
One of my customers in Walsall, and this story will start well and end very badly.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So one of my customers in Walsall rang me and said, "We're moving down to London. Can you move all our stuff down?" And I said, "Yeah, sure. You know, you got a telephone system, photocopier, fax machine." And he was a nice guy, nothing against him at all. And I gave him a price. He said, "Yeah, that's fine." So we moved all his stuff down. And then about 6 months later, he rang me and said, "I'm not staying down in London. I've been offered an MD's job of a company in between Rotherham and Doncaster that's doing very badly. Waterstone Glass.
Yeah.
So they were turning over 2.1 million and losing 1.7 million. So I sold my shares in the company that I had in Heath Hayes, and I went up and had a look at this place. And it was like the dark hole of Calcutta. I mean, this place was dreadful. I went into the glass factory, and the first thing I saw coming out of the Lear wasn't glass, it was 2 jacket potatoes. They were cooking the jacket potatoes. And I stayed up there for nearly about 12 years.
And you were driving up to Doncaster
And I was doing a round trip of 160 miles.
every day?
Well, not every day, because I was going to America and other places around the UK.
Yeah.
And we turned it round to a certain degree, but I was given a 3% shareholding in the business for nothing. And do you know what I got out of it?
Nothing.
Absolutely fuck all.
Yeah.
And that's not a stately home either. Right.
Yeah, so that was Waterstones.
Yep.
Was it Packaging Solutions after that?
Yep. So left
So
there.
this one also ends really fucking bad.
Yeah. Left there and set up a business.
So
with,
I was probably, how old are you? 10?
Yeah, because you used to come up to the factory, hadn't you?
Yeah. I remember going to that factory.
I was like about 40.
Take your time.
I don't know, 40, 44, 45.
Yeah, so
something like that. So you would have been
20.
about 10.
So 20 years ago. So yeah, I was about 10,
You were
11
about
years
10.
old. Yeah.
Yeah. And I set up a business with my managing director, who would
You don't have to say his name.
encourage me. No, I'm not going to mention his name because it could get litigious.
Yeah, Arsehole would be.
Arsehole, yeah.
First name Arse, second name
Yeah.
Hole. Yeah.
And he put the majority of the money into a new company, and we started going.
So
out
he
selling.
was the MD of Waterstones.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
So we were selling glass containers to perfume and cosmetics and premium spirits.
Yeah.
And we set up a business on our own, and to start off with, did very, very well.
I remember.
Yeah. So I had a couple of years where I paid off my mortgage, where I earned 100 grand in a year.
Yeah. And you had a Jag for a week.
I had a Jag for a week, which broke down, which Christian's now got. And I had a Ford Granada Ghia, which was stolen off Aldridge Cricket Club car park.
Full leathers, that was.
Full
wasn't it?
leathers.
Yeah, I remember that. And it was stolen and recovered, but you didn't want it back.
No,
so you wanted it written off. So
Roger Cox from Bryco.
Roger Cox, who owned Bryco,
Bryco.
which was a place in Aldridge repair centre. It's like, you don't want it back. And he took a samurai to the seats, didn't he?
Stanley knife.
And just slashed all the seats. So
He
it
said,
was.
it's a write-off now.
Yeah.
Yeah. However, it was going very well, and my business partner, who was a bit of a, well, he didn't do much work, put it that way, but took a lot of money out.
Yeah, you did a lot. Well, you did everything.
His wife got a promotion to America, and he went to live in America, and I offered to buy his shares, and he said no. And 12 months after that, I was looking through the books, and lo and behold, found that he had actually stolen £246,000 out of the business.
Yeah, wanker.
There endeth that lesson.
Yeah, so that business was done.
Yeah.
But didn't you keep the business?
No.
Also,
I still do some deal with some.
Yeah, it's still sort of like submarine dials.
Yeah.
Weird.
Some weird stuff.
Yeah.
And now you'll be glad to know today, I'm absolutely knackered because I was up at 7 o'clock. I've been to the golf club. We've played 18 holes. I've had a bacon, egg and sausage sandwich and 1 pint of Carling. Rushed home, brought the wife into Birmingham, dropped her off to do some shopping, and now I'm here sitting knackered.
Yeah.
But the golf was good.
Retired.
Retired now, yeah.
So, retired now. Did a few bits in between that, which we won't go into.
Yeah.
A sales role, which was fucking hell.
Yeah.
And then
the last 8 years, I bought my brother-in-law's business when he went bust.
Yeah.
And we did okay.
Yeah, that was all right. So now just living the life, just playing golf every fucking day.
That's 46 years' work in 10 minutes.
Yeah, going quite well.
Yep.
Right, cool. So we're going to get into some questions from Instagram.
Yep.
Which I've already pre-warned you a few. We won't do all of them because there's fucking loads actually. So this is from Coach Ben Stacey.
Hi, Ben.
Hi, Ben. Fucking hell. He wants to pay less tax.
Don't we all, Ben?
Yeah. What's the best advice for managing this, being self-employed and paying little as tax as possible?
Well,
please know that my dad's not actually an accountant,
no,
but he
I'm
just
not
does
a qualified accountant, but I can read a P&L account sheet. So
coaches is pretty fucking easy.
Yeah. Well, the first thing that you should know, everybody in the whole of the UK has a £12,500 personal allowance.
Yeah.
So on your first £12,500 of your salary, you don't pay any tax, and also you don't pay any national insurance now. National insurance used to start at about £8,500, but it's the same as tax now. Second thing you should do, you should find somebody who's got no earnings and pay them £12,500.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, HMRC aren't listening to this, are they? Right?
I fucking hope not.
So, for example, Christian's mother is on the payroll.
Yeah.
Right. So you should find somebody else in your family, preferably, even if they're earning a couple of £1,000, pay them the £10,000 to use up their personal allowance. So then you've got £25,000. Now, I'm not too sure about self-employed, but if you've got a limited business, you should then pay yourself dividends.
Yeah, it's the cheapest way to pay yourself.
Rather than PAYE. So on your next £38,000 of earnings, on a PAYE basis, you pay 20% tax. Right?
On dividends.
PAYE.
Yeah, but on dividends.
Yeah, and you'll also pay 13% employer and employee contributions. So in real terms, you're paying 33% tax on your next £32,000 of earnings, right? On a dividend, you don't pay any national insurance contributions, and you pay 7.5% tax. So all of a sudden, you've just saved
A lot of money.
12.5% tax and no national insurance contributions.
Right. And we don't want to give all the loopholes away.
Right.
So that's pay yourself in dividends,
Okay.
employ someone.
If you're earning more than that, you can only earn up to £85,000 a year before you have to register for VAT, which is law.
Yeah.
Okay. You can get exempt rates of VAT lower than 20%, but it's very difficult, and HMRC are clamping down on it like no tomorrow. And if HMRC come and do an investigation into your business, they go through everything. So be very careful.
Yeah, Ben. Be careful,
Ben,
mate.
Be careful.
Um,
Once you get over 50,000, you then go into the 40% tax bracket, and that goes up to 125,000. But on a dividend, it's only 32.5%. So yet again, you're saving
7.5.
money.
Yeah.
Yep. Then also, if you're working from home, you're allowed to claim for a percentage of your rates. So if you've got 8 rooms in your house,
And you work out of 7 of them.
and you work out you work out of one of them,
Yeah.
right, which is your office. Divide the 7 into, let's say, £2,500 a year or £3,000 a year, and you're allowed to claim that and offset it against your profits. As you are your gas, your electric, your water.
Wi-Fi.
Obviously, you put your mobile through. You put a new laptop through every year. You put carpets for the office. Anything that you can think of.
Sofa for the office. Coached by Christian sign, neon sign for the office.
Yeah.
It's needed.
Yeah.
You can claim it back.
And then obviously you can claim for mileage when you're doing business calls.
Yeah. Visiting all your clients.
Visiting all your clients.
Going to shows.
2 or 3 times a week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's loads there for you, Ben.
Yeah.
But we don't want to give away too much.
If Ben needs to know any more, I can give him a very competitive hourly rate.
Yeah. £500 an hour for you, Ben. Next one is from
Ben, I hope that's helped.
Yeah. Mun Rodman. What was Christian like growing up? Was he good in school? Any early signs of entrepreneurship?
Growing up, he
No,
was an absolute...
Don't embarrass me here.
He was an absolute fucking nightmare,
Correct.
right? You see the black nail varnish on his fingers? He had that on when he was about 12.
Yeah.
And studied collars
Yeah.
and
Went
everything
for a
else. And
Grebo phase.
He was were you a goth?
Yeah, I was a goth, yeah.
He was
Thanks,
a
Dad.
goth. He was a
We
nightmare.
can edit that bit out. I said no embarrassing on here. Come on.
No.
Right, so what was it like growing up?
No, he was a very difficult child. Yeah, in fact, there were a couple of occasions where I nearly killed him.
Yeah.
Right? I do not exaggerate.
Yeah.
He was a nightmare. But
Good in school? No?
well, yes, you were good, but
I hated it.
you hated it.
Yeah, just like you?
Just like me.
Yeah, yeah. I hated school.
You didn't want to be there.
No.
No. And from a really early age, like, I mean, when he started working for Revo, Bar Revolution, and then progressed to a few other places and eventually ran the Post House in Stafford, it was always, every week, Dad, what can I do working for myself? I'm fed up of working for people, making them a lot of money. And really, I was exactly the same. So we both got the same DNA.
Yeah, true. Next one's from Darren Farrell. 10 years ago, where did you see Christian now?
So at 21.
Yeah, what was he doing? Fuck.
Well, he probably just smashed up a Fabia.
Fabio.
Skoda
No,
Fabia
I was 19.
VRS.
I was 19 then. No, 18 or 19.
18 were you?
Yeah, we spoke about that we speak about that on the next podcast, so don't give it away.
Right. Okay. No, look, Christian's heart's in the right place. He's a great lad. He's very thoughtful, very kind. So he was never ever going to go off the rails. I mean, obviously, the job he was doing in the entertainment industry. I mean, he was that tired all the time from coming home at 4 o'clock on a Sunday, Saturday morning or
Sunday morning as well.
4 o'clock on a Sunday morning. He was never one for going out with his mates and getting completely arseholed.
No.
But I always knew from an early age that he would be successful, providing loads of people always say, what can I do? I've got to find something. And it's not easy.
No, because someone's already done it.
Because invariably somebody's already done it. But what I did say to Christian was, don't ever get premises, rates, rent, staff. I mean, it's just a recipe for disaster. So, with the advent of the internet, which I know nothing about, that is the way to run a business these days.
Yeah, all online.
All online.
Yeah. Cal Curry, you'll know him because I coach him.
I put his name through every month.
Yeah.
Well done, Cal. Keep paying your money.
Yeah. Fuck's sake. If you could experience one moment in your life again, this time with Christian, what would it be?
Well, he hasn't prepared me for this question.
Yeah, sorry.
I think going to pick up his McLaren 720 was pretty special.
Yeah. So you want to go and do it again?
Should we go and do it again? Yeah. That was a pretty special event.
Or you hadn't... It would be good to go back and you didn't see me when I was in Gran Canaria and surprised you.
Yeah, that was pretty special when I was celebrating my 40th wedding anniversary and Christian appeared. That was pretty special. I'll have to think about that one.
We'll go back to that one.
Yeah, think about that.
Pav Sava, great lad. What routines do you follow each day? Play golf.
Well, fortunately, at my age, 65, it's nice to wake up and breathe. Right?
There's one routine.
There's one routine. Well, it's different now because I'm retired. So, I worked hard nearly every day of the week sometimes for 46 years. And when you retire, I was pretty apprehensive about that. And I've got to say, I don't really enjoy the winter months.
Yeah, because you're not doing anything.
Because I sometimes say to my wife, is it 8 o'clock? And she'll say, no, it's 6:10. Because it's been dark for 2 hours.
Yeah.
And I've watched Dickinson's Real Deal, followed by A Place in the Sun,
well, would
followed
you ever...
by Bargain Brits in the Sun, followed by the news.
Would you ever do anything again?
Possibly.
There we go.
Possibly.
New business venture for that.
So my structure is golf 3 times a week. My wife goes to the gym 4 times a week. We walk the dog every day. And then my wife very kindly drags me off to Lichfield, Tamworth, Designer Centre at Cannock. Yeah. And then we have 5 or 6 holidays a year.
Yeah. Chill out.
Which is nice.
Yeah.
Yep.
From Hillbilly88, what's the one car your dad, like you, have wanted that I had and sold?
Well, there's only one answer. If I don't get this right, I'm dead. Porsche 911.
Oh, yeah, true.
Which is a classic.
He just loves it.
All-time great.
Yeah.
The only thing I'll say, though, Christian lent it to me for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And you had my Audi.
Yeah.
I don't know why you needed that.
You hated it, didn't you?
No. So I'm driving along, and all of a sudden the petrol gets a bit low. So I said to my wife, who was in the car, I said, we've got to stop and get some petrol. So the needle was just above the red, and I put £40 in, thinking that would nearly fill it up. And the gauge didn't move.
Yeah, in old 911s, when you put petrol, you have to put in over a certain amount for the needle to even move. It's got you've put 40 quid worth of fuel in, but you won't know if it's gone up or not.
So I rang Christian and I said, Christian, there's something wrong with your petrol gauge. It hasn't moved. He said, Dad, you've got to put in 80 quid. And I'm thinking, I'm not buying one of these. Fucking hell, 80 quid every time you bloody go to the petrol station. 2 days, 3 days. But Porsche 911,
yeah,
fantastic. If I had another choice, it would be an Aston Martin.
Yeah, there you go.
Yep.
Ethan Harris. Hi, Eggs Dad. What are the best traits Christian got from you and what are the worst? Best traits can't be the entrepreneurship.
Entrepreneurship, and he's a very, very hard worker.
Thanks,
and
Dad.
when he wants something, he will get it.
Yeah.
And I was exactly the same. So nothing ever fazed me. And if I didn't get what I wanted wherever I was working, I went somewhere else to get it.
Yeah. Same.
Which is easy to do in sales because there's always loads of jobs available.
Yeah.
So that's the best trait he's got, and the worst.
Yeah. Stubborn.
Christian's got to learn to prioritise what he's got to do on a daily basis. So I think if he's got a lot to do, he gets a bit pressurised and stressed.
Yeah, but was that what you did?
No, I wrote everything down.
Yeah,
So
well, I do that.
I'd sit in my office and do a 1 to 10 of things I got to do. And until I finished number 1, I didn't go on to number 2 unless I couldn't physically finish number 1.
Yeah. Well, no, but I do that.
Do you think so?
Yeah, I do that. And that's not a trait that you had.
No. But
You're stubborn.
I handled stress all right. I mean, when we were up in Waterstone, we had 250 people working for us. I mean, that's pressure.
Yeah, true.
I had to get in orders to make sure they were all working.
Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't like that.
So I think you've got to learn to handle stress and pressure better.
Thanks, Dad.
That's all right, mate.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah. Do you agree with that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm better at it, though.
I haven't upset you?
No. I'm better at it, though, aren't I?
Yes, you're getting better.
Actually, no, that's the worst trait, because I take things personally. So do you.
Yeah.
There you go. That's the worst trait I've got from my dad. I take things
I mean, if
personally.
anybody complains about this podcast, I'll take it very personally.
Matt Bristow, please tell us Christian's worst habit as a child. Just a fucking nightmare. I know.
Yeah, he wouldn't do as he was told.
Yeah.
That was his
True.
worst. And then he'd run upstairs and he'd slam every door that he could find, right? And then he'd wait for my steps coming up the stairs.
Yeah, and I get a fucking whack as
to
well.
go and give him
Child abuse over here.
Yeah,
This one, you'll know this name. It's from Zeph Chapman.
Oh, Zeph.
Yeah.
Zeph and Zach.
Yeah.
Your mum and dad all right?
Yeah. What would your dream job or career would have been?
Finance.
What?
Yeah.
Footballer? You lived. No. Okay.
No. Well,
Finance.
The problem with football, when I signed for Villa Boys at 14, there were no academies. I can remember going in the changing rooms at Villa Park, and the first thing you were met with was a huge cloud of smoke. Right? And the second thing was all the empty cans of booze. So, no, not that. It would have been finance.
Yeah.
Because that's what I enjoy.
Yeah. So why didn't you do it?
Just to tell you how sad I am, I watch Ian King live on Sky News at 10 o'clock every morning. It's an hour-long programme on finance. It's bloody great.
Why didn't you do it?
The opportunity never arose.
Yeah.
And by the time I could have done it, older in life, you've got to take so many exams.
Yeah.
You know, you can't just be an independent financial advisor or work for a bank or whatever.
Without actually having studied it.
Yeah. But what I will say is now, Christian knows a guy called Terry Hince.
Yeah.
Who worked for Lloyd's Bank for 40 odd years. And every bonus he had, he put into shares in Lloyd's. And overnight, in the crash in 2008, they went from £11.50 each to 20 pence.
Oh, shit.
And he lost 200,000 quid.
Jesus.
And banking's changed now. They are all under pressure. Christian worked for Lloyd's Bank on a Saturday morning.
Fucking shit that was.
And how many leads did you have to get?
Oh, I can't remember.
3 or 4?
Yeah, 3 or 4 a day for like savings accounts or mortgages or credit
pensions
cards or
or
whatever. Yeah.
So you were 16 then?
Yeah.
And there was pressure on you at 16 to get leads for the sales staff at bloody Lloyd's Bank?
Yeah.
How mad is that?
Yeah, stupid.
So I probably wouldn't do it now, but in my heyday, finance would have been fantastic. I would have loved it.
Yeah. Favourite ever holiday destination?
Gran Canaria.
God.
You'll find people that when you get older, you don't like change.
Yeah.
So once you find somewhere nice, with a nice hotel, nice people, why change?
Yeah.
Gran Canaria, Melanorus, beautiful.
Yeah. It's from Ryan Kirkham. What's the most proud dad moment you've had, or are you still waiting?
I think when Christian set up his own business.
When I left Mini.
When you left
When
Mini.
it was like official.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
So
true.
Christian, when he left Mini, had probably got 20 clients.
Not when I left Mini.
Yeah.
No, when I left Mini, I had 80.
Did you?
Yeah.
And kept saying to me, "What shall I do, Dad? Shall I?" And I said, "Christian, just set up on your own. Do it.
Yeah.
Get rid of Mini. You're working all hours under the sun for 35 grand a year. just leave.
Yeah.
But you liked it as a bit of a comfort blanket.
Yes, because it's scary to go and do something on your own.
Because it's
But
scary.
you're different in that respect because you just don't care. You just do it. Well, not don't care, but
No, I do care.
But do you think if it was in this day and age, it would be different?
Yeah, because business now, compared to 45 years ago, is so much tougher than it was when I set up and had to go on my own. It was a lot easier then. I think it's a lot more difficult now.
Yeah.
That might be wrong. Somebody might totally
Yeah,
disagree
but
with
okay,
that.
yeah, but in the new age with social media and stuff like that, you can make a business out of anything.
Yeah, and also, when I started off, our ways in sales, our ways of generating business is totally different to how it is now. So you wouldn't do the things that I used to do in terms of going and knocking on somebody's door
No.
and getting told to F off.
Yeah.
You know, we're not interested. All yours is done on social media. I haven't got a clue. We've never been on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, whatever you want to call it. I wouldn't even know where to start. So business has changed.
Yeah.
LinkedIn, things
there's
like
none of
that. You know, so it's more social media driven now. So I wouldn't want to do it again.
Some Cruise Be Fit. Has Christian always been so passionate about things he's done?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Always.
Like even when I was running bars, when I did love it,
Yeah,
I fucking loved it.
But before bars, you were doing deliveries for the pizza place in Aldridge. What was that called?
Buddies.
Buddy's Pizza.
Yeah.
You worked at Waitrose at Harborne. I had to take you over there.
Yeah, I worked nights, didn't I?
Yeah.
Through the night.
So, you know, I'm proud of both my boys. Christian's brother, Sam's 35, just been promoted. Works for a life assurance company. Doing really well. Proud of him. And we're proud of Christian because he's a real achiever. And when he wants to do something or needs money, he will go and do it.
Yeah.
When you got into the car game, you went out and knocked and went into showrooms
Yeah.
and said, I want a job.
Yeah, I didn't apply online to any of them.
No,
Just walked in.
just walked in, which is what I would have done. So that's identical.
Yeah.
And that takes a bit of balls to do that.
Yeah.
So proud of you.
Thanks, mate.
Yeah.
I hope it's pretty. All the questions are pretty much the same. We are going to start wrapping it up now. The last one was from Custom Bodies Tom Fern.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Keep paying me, Tom.
Keep paying Tom.
Thanks,
Good
mate.
man. Yep. I've got to go on holiday in 6 weeks' time. I need some money.
What are you most proud about Christian and his business? We've already answered these, really.
Yeah.
I think just starting something up from because I can remember talking to you when I was growing up, saying like, I need to invent something or invent a job or something to do because I just hated working for people.
Yeah.
Carcraft. Remember when I was worked there?
Oh, the fat controller.
Oh, fucking
And
hell.
the guys who used to sleep in their cars overnight.
There was a guy, Malcolm, who was fucking mental. And he would come in and hadn't slept for 5 days because he was up all night fucking doing drugs. And would sell a car, walk outside, go to his boot, down a can of Stella and come back in.
Yeah.
And he used to work like 12-hour days trying to sell. And you were selling shit cars, which were way overpriced.
Yeah. But for every 10 deals you did, 9 were rejected on finance.
Yeah, because the area in was a shithole. And the only way you got them to go through was lying.
Yeah.
You should double their income. Oh, that was shit, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But I've always done something I thought I was an opportunity to make money.
Yeah.
I'm going to do it.
I think anybody also who is out there who's thinking of setting up their own business, you'll only find out if you do it.
Yeah.
Right? And if you can say to yourself, well, hold on, if it doesn't go very well, can I get another job? That's a bit of a comfort blanket.
Yeah.
Right? So that's what you've got to like. But you tend to find people who set up their own business, it tends to be very simplistic things. So people tend to think, right, I've got to find something that's really obscure or nobody else does. But that's never the case. It's sometimes staring you right in your face, and it can be the simplest of things that can be successful.
There you go. Like a podcast studio?
Like a podcast studio.
Yeah, there you go.
Like giving people advice on diet and exercise.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. There you go. budding
Actually,
on, budding
Christian
on.
did take me on as a customer.
I did actually. I helped you.
Yeah,
didn't I?
I'd put on half a stone. I was not looking too good, I can tell you.
Yeah, didn't you
but
lose like £14 in 4 weeks, isn't it?
No. I'd gone. Bearing in mind, people, I'm 6'5", so I can carry extra weight. But I'm always round about 14 to 14 and a half stone, and I'd gone above 15 stone, and I felt shit. Right, when I was sitting down, I could feel my stomach hanging over my trousers, and I said to Christian, "Get me a diet." So every morning now, I have high protein yogurt, blueberries, raspberries, strawberries, banana.
There you go. Loves his fruit. This guy.
Chicken, fish, jacket potatoes. Right, cut out the fish and chips. I wish I could say I've cut out the lager, but I haven't really. But sometimes I'll have a nice gin and tonic. And I lost £9 in...
It was like 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
No, it was about 4 weeks.
Something like that.
And I've managed to keep it off.
Easy.
But when I go to Gran Canaria for 11
back
days, I'll put on a stone.
Yes.
So it does work.
I'm going to try and think of something to close this on, but you've already kind of done it with, like, if someone's out there like looking to start a business, like what to do. Sometimes you just got to do it, haven't you?
Go with your gut feeling.
Yeah. Because I didn't know I definitely heard about the Toshiba thing before, but I didn't realise you'd set that up on your own.
Yeah. Don't you remember going out to Connect Business Systems in Heath Hayes?
No.
To the shop we had?
No.
I used to take you on a Saturday morning with Sam, open the post,
How old was I?
see what checks had come in.
How old was I?
Do you remember a check, people? It's a thing you write and send to people.
How old was I?
You would have only been really young. Yeah, no, you wouldn't have remembered it.
No.
No, you were too young then.
But yeah, just do it, isn't it? Just do it.
Yeah, but you got to find a good product. That product's got to have a backup. I mean, for example, still now, after having a glass factory in South Yorkshire, I still do some glass. Right, and I'm doing a job for a client at the moment down in London, and I'm getting it made in northern France. And it's supposed to be made on the 30th of May. That won't happen. It'll be an absolute miracle if they make it on that day, because they're so unpredictable and so unreliable.
Yeah.
So if you haven't got a good backup and you're telling your customers one thing and then you've got to go back to them with another thing, it's never good.
Yeah. Don't overpromise and underdeliver.
Correct.
Overpromise and overdeliver.
Yeah.
Is that the right saying?
I don't know. It sounds something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bloody hell.
Like Liam, when he tells me how long it's going to take for him to edit it,
Yeah.
he always does it in time, and that's why I like working with him.
But as I said originally, if you don't try it, you'll never find out.
Yeah. And this isn't my dad encouraging everyone to just leave their job and just start doing anything. But if you've got an idea, if you're working 50 hours a week for someone else, what could you do with 50 hours working on your own thing? Probably quite a fucking lot.
Yeah.
Like when COVID happened, I had all the time in the fucking world, and I put it all into it. So by the time that I was called back in, I didn't have to go back in.
Yeah.
Because in that time, I'd started a YouTube, started taking on more clients, actually advertising and promoting, and it worked.
Yeah.
Didn't have to go back.
Yeah.
So there we go.
But it doesn't suit everybody.
True.
You know, for example, although Christian's business is very simple in so much that customers paying by direct debit or PayPal, if you're running a business and you're giving people 30 days credit, that 30 days credit goes into 45, then that 45 goes into 60, and getting people to pay you, and you're going to bed at night, and you might have, debtors owing you £100,000. It's not a nice feeling.
Yeah, and some people can't handle that.
No. So it doesn't suit everybody.
Yeah, but if I had a business like that, I wouldn't like that.
No.
I wouldn't fucking sleep.
No.
This is a really simple business. That's why I like it.
Yeah. I mean, when I was working with my brother-in-law, we had a customer who came in and they were doing a big contract for Birmingham Children's Hospital. So we were selling pipe work for commercial heating contractors. And they were spending £5,000 a month with us, and all of a sudden got a contract for 100 grand. Phew, no thanks.
Yeah.
Pay us 50 grand up front and we'll do the job.
Yeah.
If you don't, go somewhere else.
Yeah, because they wanted all that stuff up front.
Yeah.
100 grand's worth of stuff.
100 grand's worth of stuff, delivering.
So you said no.
Birmingham Children's Hospital.
So you said no.
Well, no, unless you pay 50,000 plus VAT
To cover you,
upfront
to help,
into our account.
to cover you.
Yeah, and they did.
Yeah.
Well, you can sleep a bit better then, because
Yeah.
at least you're covering your costs.
Yeah. Don't be a pushover in business.
No.
You dictate, not them.
No, if I can give any advice to anybody who is thinking of setting up a business, cash is king.
Yeah.
Right? If you haven't got money, you can be the busiest person in the world and think you're the most successful business. But if you haven't got cash, you'll go bust.
Yeah. Build up cash behind you first.
Yep.
Then start
And
doing
then,
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go, guys. We're gonna wrap it up there. Unless there's anything else you want to say, Dad.
Yeah.
Oh,
Also,
God.
as well, just another one, right? If
Fucking
you've got
hell.
a business, right, you must know the score with electric cars.
Yes.
Right.
Buy one.
Buying
But
buying a car.
It's 2025. It's stopping, isn't it, or
Yeah,
something?
buying a car through your business used to be the most expensive thing you could ever do, because it was based on the full retail price of the car, even if you were buying second hand. So you might buy a second hand car for 40 grand. If the full list price is 100 grand, you got taxed on the 100 grand. And CO2 emissions. So if you were running a nice car, you could be paying £10,000 a year tax on that car. Electric cars now, brand new, 100% tax deductible against any profits you make.
Yeah.
Not a second-hand one.
So if basically, I'll say it in English because I always need to explain it. If your business made 100 grand of profit, and then you bought a 100 grand electric car,
You make nothing.
that then you've wiped that off your profit. So you've made nothing. You can't pay tax on nothing.
No.
So you don't pay any.
Yep.
There you go. Buy an electric car.
So effectively, it's saving you corporation tax.
Yeah.
And it's an absolute no-brainer.
Yeah. It's also saving the planet if you really care about
Also
it.
saving the planet.
Apparently.
Yeah.
It doesn't.
Yeah. We shan't go on to my Audi A5. That's bad news at the
Yeah.
moment.
Diesel.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's going to wrap up the podcast.
Thanks, everybody.
Yeah. Fucking hell. We will see you at the next one.